ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Many questions still remain tonight after 13 people died in this horrific crash in Imperial County. 6 people injured in that crash. They are now in San Diego hospitals tonight. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. Investigators are continuing to look into the collision between a big rig and an SUV that had 25 people inside. It happened east of El Centro near Holtville. ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura has more on the deadly crash and those taken to area hospitals.
We know at least 6 of the patients were taken to San Diego area hospitals. 4 of the patients are here at UC San Diego Health in Hillcrest. Another 2 patients are at Scripps Mercy. This 2-vehicle crash left at least 13 dead. At around 6:15 Tuesday morning, California Highway Patrol officers say, for unknown reasons, a Ford Expedition carrying 25 people and a big rig hauling 2 trailers collided at Norrish Road and State Route 115 near Holtville.
Some of the victims were ejected from the vehicle. There's some walking wounded that pulled themselves out of the vehicles. And then once the allied agencies and our CHP personnel arrived on scene, they were also pulling people from the vehicle as well. Officials haven't said where the vehicles were coming from or where they were going, but they say the Expedition was westbound, the big rig northbound. CHP officers also saying the Expedition only had a driver's seat and a front passenger seat. The fire department had to cut the right front seat out of the vehicle to help extricate people from the vehicle. And in examining that after they've done that, we do see that there are not seats in the rest of the vehicle. Why that is so, we don't know. 12 people in the Expedition were killed on scene, including the driver who was from Mexicali. Another passenger later died at the hospital. The 69-year-old driver of the big rig had moderate injuries and was taken to a hospital for treatment. CHP officers say the ages of the deceased and the injured range from 15 to 53. Several of the patients were transported to San Diego hospitals. UC San Diego health officials say they received patients from the crash via air ambulance, confirming they have 4 patients at their level 1 trauma center in Hillcrest. They say the patients were transferred from the El Centro Regional Medical Center. Officials with Scripps Health say Scripps Mercy received 2 patients from Pioneers Memorial Hospital stemming from the crash. One is a male teenager and the other an adult female. Both arrived by air transport. The conditions of the patients are not being released at this time. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
CHP officers say they found IDs on scene. They're working with the Mexican consulate to possibly identify the victims.
All right, as we mentioned, the crash involved an early 2000s Ford Expedition, and there were 25 people packed into it. But Ford specifications say, depending on the features, the Expedition can only safely carry up to 8 or 9 people. Those early models only have front impact airbags for the driver and the front passenger. Crash test ratings did show the Expedition did well with frontal crashes, but there is little information about how it tested on side and rear crashes.
Meantime, a Navy sailor was killed and 5 others hurt in a crash today on I-5. The Navy says 5 military trucks were headed from Ventura County to Camp Pendleton to pick up gear. Just before 7 a.m., one of the trucks slowed down, causing a chain reaction crash. The crash backed up traffic for hours, and the sailor's name will be released once his family is notified. The Navy says the 5 injuries are minor.
All right, turning now to the weather and a live look outside. We are getting ready for a big change in the forecast coming up tomorrow. Melissa Macias in for Angelica with a look at the rain that's on the way. Mel.
Hey, Steve. Yeah, it is dry for now, but you can see our satellite and radar. We're waiting for the system to push in, which is going to happen tomorrow. So if you're going to be driving early tomorrow, the early morning commute should be dry. It's later on in the morning that we'll start to see some of that rain throughout the county. By Wednesday evening, you can see we're going to be between about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch in our more populated areas. And any rain that we do get, of course, that is welcomed, because we're over 4 inches in our deficit. Not only are we dealing with the rain, but also pretty gusty winds coming out of the south. So a lot of changes going on, short-lived changes, because now things are going to warm up after that. We'll take a look at your extended coming up in a few.
All
guys.
right, we'll check back in with you. Thank you, Melissa. Now to our coronavirus coverage. The county reported another 376 COVID cases today. Our positivity rate now remains at 4%. Another 14 people in San Diego County have lost their lives to coronavirus, bringing that total now to over 3,300.
As more California counties get the green light to move into less restrictive tiers, San Diego just missed the cut. That means that indoor dining and gyms are on hold for at least one more week to work out inside or eat inside. Our ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty explains how close we are to moving to that next tier.
Restaurants still waiting to return to the days of pre-COVID. Jeff Petroff's Harbor Island restaurants ready for indoor dining.
Just that social interaction with everybody. Everybody is that's the part we're missing.
But San Diego County will wait a minimum of 3 weeks longer. Tuesday, Governor Gavin Newsom announcing 7 California counties, including Napa, San Francisco, and San Luis Obispo, will join the red tier, which loosen reopening restrictions. Under the red tier, indoor dining could be allowed at 25% capacity. It also means indoor gyms can open indoors at 10% capacity. Museums, zoos, and aquariums at 25%. Curfews would also be lifted. The governor speaking in Palo Alto, where schools are slowly reopening.
7 counties now moving into less restrictive tiers. As of today, we're tracking an additional 12 counties that we likely anticipate they'll be moving to less restrictive tiers.
San Diego on that watch list. As of Tuesday, San Diego County at a case rate of 10.8. 7.0 or below is required for 2 straight weeks. Then on the 3rd week of 7.0, we would move to the red tier. Supervisor Nathan Fletcher telling 10 News we are heading in the right direction and leading the state with vaccine rollouts, saying we are seeing more school openings and know we are on the right path to a lower tier. Making progress, but San Diego restaurants, gyms, and more remain on hold. Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
Today, Governor Newsom said the state has given more than 300,000 vaccines in the last 48 hours.
UC San Diego says the Petco Park Vaccination Superstation will reopen tomorrow. The health system says about 4,000 people will receive their second doses of the Moderna vaccine. The Petco site has been closed since Saturday because of a shortage in those vaccines. UC San Diego says the site will be open at least through Thursday, could stay open longer depending on the Moderna vaccine availability. Teachers across San Diego County are now getting vaccinated as they prepare to head back to the classroom. But some teachers who have been back in class for months say they're being put at the end of the line. The state has divided the county into 4 regions based on risk. And right now, teachers in Region 3 and 4 are eligible for the vaccine. Teachers in Region 1 and 2 have to wait for now. The County Office of Education says prioritizing vaccines based on areas hardest hit by the virus makes the most sense.
It allows us to move forward with school opening in kind of an organized way instead of a few people here and there getting vaccinated.
The county puts aside 20% of the doses for people who work in education.
President Biden says there will be enough doses of the vaccine for every adult in America by the end of May. The White House invoked the Defense Production Act in a historic partnership between 2 traditional big pharma rivals, Merck and Johnson & Johnson. The goal is to ramp up vaccine distribution and get 100 million doses ready by the end of May. President Biden says that teachers, staff, and child care workers should get priority.
The goal is to do everything we can to help every educator receive a shot this month, the month of March.
With 3 vaccines now in play, many states are now lifting restrictions. In fact, today, the governor of Texas canceled the state's mask mandate and said he will allow all businesses to open at 100% capacity.
I think it would be a wonderful way to honor his memory.
The parents who tragically lost their son in a freak accident on Mission Trails last January are moving forward with their plans to push for a bridge where their son died. And tonight, making their case before the Mission Trails Regional Park Citizens Advisory Committee. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us how tonight's meeting was just the first step in a long process.
Through their heartbreak, the parents of Max Lanai, Ben Lanai, and Lori Yoler have insisted they never want Max's accident to ever happen to someone else.
We wanted to explain our motivation of why we want to build a pedestrian footbridge.
Lanai, just 21 years old, went for a run at Mission Trails in late January. His parents say he slipped and drowned while trying to cross the San Diego River. The river swollen by storms days before. Documents show a bridge in the area had been discussed for 10 years, but plans never happened. Max's parents making their case Tuesday during a Citizens Advisory Committee meeting, hoping to turn their focus on the city to greenlight the project.
They are in charge of the approvals, and they have chosen to spend funds in a different way, even though the risk was very well known.
During the meeting, members echoed their desire and need for a bridge, but pointed out several steps necessary to make sure everything is done with the proper environmental studies and permits in place.
We understand that they don't want to destroy any of the natural habitat, and that they want to make sure it's architecturally sound and that the design makes sense for the park.
The family has been in touch with Councilmember Raul Campillo about the bridge project. Tonight, the councilman sent ABC 10 News a statement that read, quote, "While there's much more work to be done, I am very encouraged by what I heard at the meeting this evening. I continue to support Max Lanai's family and appreciate their perseverance." In 2 weeks, the family will present their design and cost estimates to the Mission Trails Regional Park Task Force to get the ball rolling.
But I would just hope that that doesn't mean 5 years of thoughtful study, and that instead we can start having this conversation.
Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.